What is going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my very first property that I ever bought. And after reviewing the financials recently for it, I'm going to share with you guys how that one purchase increased my net worth by just about $250,000. This was a purchase that I made when I was still working my full-time job. I knew nothing about real estate. So hopefully this serves as inspiration, motivation, and obviously some education that anyone can do this stuff. You don't need to be a rocket scientist for this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna give you guys the full story of how I bought it, and hopefully it's helpful for you. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now, before I hop into the content, first, if this is your first time to my channel or you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. It keeps me motivated to keep banging these videos out for you guys. That way I can put out more content, reach more people, help influence more people to generate more wealth, cash flow through real estate investing. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'm gonna give you guys kind of the background on my very first purchase that I made just almost 5 years ago at this point. I'll give you guys the financials behind it, and you'll see just how impactful that one acquisition was on my financial life. So when I graduated college, I went into management consulting. That was supposed to be my gap year before I was supposed to apply to medical school. And at that time, I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I start investing, right? And one of the things I knew very quickly was I am not going to be the next Warren Buffett. I didn't think I was going to be some insane stock guru. I didn't think, I didn't really want to play that game where, can I hit it big on some like spec stock or something like that? So naturally, I started looking at alternative ways to invest. Now, neither me nor my family had any experience in real estate or construction. Actually, if you ask my parents, they always say that I've got two left hands because I can't do anything with them. And the way I actually got upon real estate was I had two friends from college that were thinking about buying property. They actually had a construction background, and they kept talking about it. They never actually ended up doing it, but it kind of got the bug in my ear. So after doing a lot of research on it, the numbers kind of made sense to me, right? I could go buy a piece of property, rent out a couple of units, and hopefully generate some cash flow, right? I mean, that sounded pretty good to me. Maybe generate a little income on the side, maybe it'll help pay for some fun stuff or whatever it was, right? So, I kind of approached to it. I approached it with a nothing to lose mindset, right? Because I really didn't. It's not like I had a ton at stake at that time. So I decided to go after it. And I wanted to use the house hacking strategy. Now, you've probably heard that in other videos, podcasts, maybe on my channel. But basically the way I approached it was I was gonna buy a multifamily using an owner-occupied loan, right? An owner-occupied FHA loan. And the main advantage of an FHA loan is it allowed me to put down just about 5% of the purchase price, right? Because again, I was a year out, fresh out of college. It's not like I had a ton of cash saved up, so I didn't have enough to put down 25%, especially in a really expensive market like Boston, which is one of the most expensive cities in the country and even world. So the FHA loan was absolutely instrumental in my progression to buy real estate. So after doing a lot of research, trying to understand the market, trying to understand the financing, I started touring a lot of properties. I started submitting many offers. I think I probably submitted 20 to 25 offers. I kid you not. I knew it was gonna take a lot of time to get something accepted, but after probably a number of months, I finally got an offer accepted on a 3-family just outside of Boston, probably like 10-15 minutes away. So to give you guys some numbers behind the purchase price was about $510,000 on a 3-family. I put down 5%, so if you do the math, that comes out to just over $25,000 in down payment. When you add in closing costs, all that other stuff, I think I ended up spending somewhere in the vicinity of $30,000. Now, that was a big chunk of my savings at the time, right? I had like I said, I was 1 year out of college. I was able to save up some cash, but $30,000 was still a pretty significant dent in my wallet at the time. Now, the building itself was in pretty decent condition. It by no means was like beautiful or anything like that, but the units were in very rentable shape. I did some very minor cleanup of the units, like some paint, took some trash out. I mean, really minor. Other than that, I just put them on the rental market, and got them rented right away. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I talk a lot about how real estate investing is very intensive and there's always surprises around the corner. And I learned that literally from day one. Within a month of owning the property, I closed in October. I think it was like the week before Thanksgiving. I had a boiler go out on one of the units. And if you guys know Boston gets very, very cold very, very quickly in the fall. So it was like 25 degrees. I had a boiler go out and a tenant complaining about it. So there was another $7,000 check I had to stroke. So right away, I learned about the lessons of making sure you're staying liquid as a real estate investor, making sure you have strong reserves, because things happen that honestly, sometimes you can just not control. But basically, as I've owned the building over the last 4.5 years or so, I've kind of just slowly done renovations, right? Nothing crazy, but as I said, I did a boiler here. I rebuilt a staircase in the back. As I had tenants turn over, I would do more and more work. So I recently upgraded kitchen cabinets, did some work in bathrooms, put in some new floors. But again, this is something I kind of did over the years. Now, this was also financed not only just by my cash, but I also used the cash flow that the property was generating to kind of reinvest back into the property, right? And I still do that today. I just spent probably another $5,000, $10,000 in the last half a year upgrading the property. I built out storage units. I've done extra renovations in common space because, I take pride in my property and I want to make sure it presents well and it functions really well. So even though the property was generating cash flow, and that's obviously fantastic, I'll tell you guys what the biggest driver of my wealth with that property has been. And drum roll, it's been time. I talk about that in plenty of other videos, but my investment belief, just like if you listen to someone like Warren Buffett or some of the really big investors out there, is time. Time is one of the most critical factors in generating wealth. So again, I bought that property 4.5 years ago for $510,000. I just had it appraised about a month ago for just under $750,000, right? So it was a smidge under. So that 4.5 year window has increased my property value by almost 50%. And that's a function of, again, me waiting and me being invested in a really, really amazing real estate market, AKA Boston. So by sitting on that property, kind of continuing to improve it, having strong tenants in place, I've generated almost $250,000 of wealth. Again, nothing fancy, literally buying a property that I didn't know much about, I really had no business in buying, and then just sitting on it for 4 or 5 years. So next time someone asks you, or you're trying to Google, like, what's the secret to amazing results in real estate investing and all that, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. You buy quality assets, right? You make sure the numbers work today, right? Because you don't want to be losing money on your deal while you're waiting. And then you wait, right? I mean, time is a magical thing. I personally think over the next 5-10 years, property values are going to continue to rise, especially if you're invested in very strong markets like Boston or any other major markets across the United States or even the world. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know that today I'm a full real estate professional. One of my businesses is being an agent / brokering, while my other business is buying more investment property through methods such as raising money and using commercial financing, doing a ton of construction, including gut rehabs and new construction. Now, that all kind of stemmed from that very first purchase, right? Because initially when I bought that first property, my goal was to just buy one property every year by house hacking, right? Just continuing to do that over and over again until I was able to reach a financial freedom number. Now, that's certainly a good strategy, and for a lot of you guys, that is the path to do it. I just really fell in love with, real estate investing game and the real estate industry. So I decided to go full time and really continue to expand my portfolio and use other methods beyond just house hacking, right? Now, those methods have allowed me to really blow up my portfolio. Today, I'm sitting on about $12 million in assets around Boston. But again, that doesn't necessarily need to be something you do, right? If you want to do that, that's fantastic. But even if your goal is like, look, Lior, I love my job. I want to continue staying in my full-time job, but I'm just going to continue to buy one property every year or two. That's a really, really great goal. And believe me, you're going to increase your net worth so much by just doing that, right? Because even if I continue to do on this pace of 1 or 2 properties a year, I'd still have a very strong balance sheet. I'd still have really good cash flows, right? So you don't need to be this amazing real estate guru to have really pretty incredible success in this kind of industry. And in terms of overall complexity, like I said, house hacking is pretty straightforward. There are so many resources out there. I mean, you can go on BiggerPockets, listen to podcasts, check out videos on YouTube, plenty of channels, including my channel, but there's other good ones as well. If you literally Google house hacking real estate, you're gonna get a million results, right? So if you just get educated about that, actually executing on it is really not that hard, but I do think you're gonna just see amazing results. Again, not only achieving really strong cash flows, but also increasing your net worth substantially. If that's something you're interested in, again, remember my story. It only took my very first purchase. I was able to generate great cash flow, increase my net worth by $250,000 just from one single purchase and then waiting it out a little bit in the marketplace. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. If you guys have any questions, make sure you comment them below.